Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, taken from the subreddit HFY. The links to all the stories will be down below, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please consider subscribing. Story number 1. So Our Children, written by MachDhai. Cape Canaveral, Florida, Earth 2277. This is the President speaking. This broadcast is being sent out to every colony, every station, every mining camp, and ship of the Republic. Today we received word that the lost Calfron's world has fallen. Confrontation of the lost the Calfron's fleet was sunk, with no survivors. That their government in exile en route was the last of their people, and the colony station of Barnard Star. The President Serena Mishra stood in the podium 2 kilometers away from the Cape Canaveral space dock. Behind her, dominating the horizon, sat the pride of the Republic fleet, the newly commissioned Dreadnought-class warship, the Phoenix. In 2 years, the Barnard Station will be complete, the workers even now striving to see the great project finished. I ask that you work quickly. What was to be the greatest testament to human engineering, to be the first non-planetary space station, home for future generations, will now be a last hope for the Calfron civilization and all the life on their birth world. The first ark ship carrying the biodiversity of a birth world will arrive in 15 standard months. I ask that you be ready for them. Behind the President, along with the distinct warship's hull, warning lights began to flash. Great waves of heat rose from their flanks as the modular atmospheric lifts began to spin to life, preparing to lift a massive warship from the surface of the Earth and cast it into its orbit. On this day, in agreement with the Senate and the First Fleet has begun to organize and shall be deployed to join the Archerian Empire's picket fleets, the preparation for the arrival of the Hive. There's been much debate in regards to the people of Earth involving themselves in this war. At first best estimate, the Hive is 200 years from reaching our space at their current rate of advance. The Phoenix began to rise from its moorings, rising slowly into the sky. A distinct roar could be heard over the transmission, and President Mishra's hair blew in a steady rising wind. There was no meaningless green screen used to superimpose the President so near the rising warship. She was broadcasting on location. 17,000 of our finest, 17,000 sons and daughters of Earth and her colonies, our children, spouses, parents. The First Fleet is armed with the best of our scientists can devise, armored with the best our engineers can produce. They will reach the Archon Empire's fleet in 5 years at best speed. The massive ship rose into the sky before its own engines began to spin up, pushing it forward even as the modular lifts pushed it higher, where it would join the lead fleet of dozens of humanity's finest ships. They will not be enough. Lunar Shipyards 2327. This is the President speaking. President Alex Johnston smiled with a strange mixture of pride and sorrow as he delivered an opening lines to a historic speech. The broadcast is being sent to every colony, every station, every mining camp, and every ship of the Republic. Today we received word that the Acheron Empire has fallen. Confirmation that the ship of the Archeron fleet has withdrawn, with the selfless action of the First Fleet. That their government in exile is en route with their last of their people to Barnard Star. In the background, seen through the expansive window of the newly commissioned Dreadnought-class warship, the Phoenix could be seen. Cables burst free from its hull, drifting away before retracting into the shipyard's construction struts. Expansion of Barnard Station is due to be complete in 1 year. The project, co-funded by our taxes and the Calfron's people, co-built by human and Calfron's technologies and engineers, co-designed by our and their scientists, will house the Archeron Empire's government in exile and the last of their people. 11 standard months' time, the first Ark ships of the Archeron homeworld will arrive. I ask you, working there, to be ready for them. The massive warship, twice the size of her predecessor, began to activate her running lights, began to shake off the last retaining camps and hurled her moorings off the lunar shipyards. On this day, in full agreement with the Senate and the Calfron's people, the second founding of the First Fleet will be deployed and join the Izzy and Mahidi fleets in preparation for the arrival of the Hive. Just as the President Mishra first deployed 17,000 of our best soldiers and hopeless mission, there has been much debate on why we continue to fight a foe so far from our shores. In an unscripted display, the Phoenix gun ports opened, unveiling the next generation of weapons devised from the combined sciences and experiences of the humans and Calfron's peoples. President Johnson's smile grew confident, if only just for a moment. Today, we send 37,000 of our finest sailors that we and our Calfron's brethren can field. They will reach Izzy space in 3 years at best speed. We've long debated why we should send them, why we would engage in a war so far from our homes, one that may never come here. The Phoenix began to push forward out of the lunar shipyard superstructure, moving forward to join the fleet of 100 other warships. We fight now, so that our children may learn from our lessons, just that they be better armed when the duty falls to them. Mars Naval Shipyards 2361. This is the President speaking. President Hideki Kishimoto stood at an observation deck of the central lab of the sprawling Martian shipyards. The structure fully encompassed Mars's moon of Phobos. This broadcast is being sent to every colony, every station, every mining camp, and ship in the Republic. Today, we are receiving confirmation of the final evacuation efforts of the Izzy homeworld is complete. The lightning strike of the Hive fleet, which threatened to see the Izzy Mahidi fleet sunk, was successfully, if temporarily, repelled. The First Fleet was lost with all hands in, and a rearguard action which allowed the Hive and Mahidi fleets to break contact and reorganize an effective resistance to the Hive's assault. At his back, a newly commissioned Dreadnought-class warship, the Phoenix, powered its engines up for the first time, breathing life into the proud warship's third incarnation, forged in the combined sciences of 3 races, all experienced with fighting and losing to the Hive. The Phoenix would have been strangely alien to the President Mishra's eyes. The first Ark ships departed from Izzy's homeworld 2 years ago, have already arrived at Barnard Station. The survivors of the Izzy fleet make full speed to Mahidi's Seldela line. From these prepared defenses, the Izzy fleet will join with the Mahidi, Yastai, Bolnian, and the Conquer fleets. As it happened some 30 years prior, the captain of the Phoenix went to script and opened up her gun ports. Dense arrays of powerful weapon systems came online, bristling all along the heavily armored shell. On this day, in full agreement with the Senate, the Calfrons and Archeron people had both fully inferred and were represented within the Republic government and Senate, no longer standing as separate governments in exile. The third founding of the First Fleet has been commissioned. The fleet led by the Phoenix will make haste to the Stellar Line and will arrive in 1 year at best speed. The Phoenix pulled forward out of the sprawling moon-turned shipyard's moorings. 3 huge turrets traversed the speed belaying at their size. 3 turrets, each mounting a massive main guns, flashed red with heat as the weapons fired. Seconds later, the surface of Deimos, already created from a century of weapon tests, flashed and the tiny moon vanished in a slow expanding cloud of debris. Today we send 270,000 of our finest. The First Fleet to 207 of our finest warships. We send them now to fight a war 100 years from reaching our borders, in hope that our children will have time and allies needed to prepare to take up the torch. Bernard Sphere, Shipyards 2580. This is the President speaking. Komal was the first half-human, half-Calfron's president,
and she stood proudly in front of the massive window in the expansive superstructure of Bernard Sphere shipyards. This broadcast is being sent to every colony, every station, every mining camp and ship of the Republic. Seen through the window at the newly commissioned dreadnought, the Phoenix, as well as her sister ships all bearing names similar connotations. The 4 huge ships were a result of the combined sciences of a dozen species, most of whom called the Bernard Sphere home. Refugees of a dozen fallen civilizations, all victim to the Hive's advance. Today, I announce the completion of the Dyson Sphere of Barnard Star, and the first founding of the Second Fleet. On this day, in full agreement with the Senate, the Second Fleet will set course to the Sol System, where it shall join the 11th founding and the First Fleet, these fleets of the 7 Alliance species. A huge blast of doors opened to reveal the black of space beyond, and the 4 huge warships began advancing under the maneuvering thrusters, taking their first steps into the void. We have launched no arc ships from Earth. There will be no evacuation, for there will be no need. In that blackness of space, what might have first been seen as stars began to coalesce into patterns, not the light of distant suns, but the engines of hundreds, thousands of ships moving into formations that will be led by their 4 largest warships ever built. Long has there been debate over President Mishra's decision to launch an ill-prepared fleet on a hopeless mission. Every soul on the First Fleet knew that they would never set foot on Earth again, never see the parents and loved ones. The same held true for the Second Founding. The 3rd, the 10th, the Phoenix has risen again and again, only to be slain by the talons of the Hive. Millions of the Republic lives have been lost in a war that, for more than 300 years, could not be won. The 4 dreadnoughts pulled free from the massive docks and made haste towards the waiting formations. Today, I proudly send 7 million of the Republic's finest sailors, strongest ships, our bravest and brightest, to join our parents, their aunts, and uncles, still serving the First Fleet. For the first time in this war, 2 generations will fight side by side. For the first time, the Hive will know defeat. For the first time, we will give them no ground. And when the Hive is rebuked out of the Sol System, we will push them back, step by step, system by system, until they are spent. Distantly, those thousands of lights flashed and vanished into FTL, racing towards the Sol System. In 5 days, the Second Fleet will reach Sol. We fight now so that our children will never have to take up the torch. End of story.
I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. If you wish to support the author, there is a link to the original story, so pop over there and give him your support. If you wish to support this channel, however, there are a few ways to do so. The best and easiest would be to share this video with other people, as well as liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. All of these things tell the algorithm that this channel is at least vaguely interesting, and that may share it with other people. If you wish to support the channel in some other manner, watching my other videos would also help tremendously. Or, if you really like, there is a link down below to leave a tip, or to join the Patreon. Any and all support is very much appreciated. And I hope that you all have a good one until the next time, and I'll see you then. Cheers.